Hi, everybody. So thank you for being here. I'm Fred Simon, co-founder and chief architect of JFrog, and I'm here to get into a little bit of a higher view of what Shlomi presented and what Koske also pointed out about the growth of DevOps, the DevOps industry, the growth of the speed at which we are delivering software, and a little bit of what we are seeing from the JFrog point of view and what I think you're going to experience in the coming years. And so the main title is The Future of DevOps, Continuous Updates Require Liquid Software. I'm going to try to explain what this means. So first of all, at JFrog, we call ourselves frogs, of course, but also the binaries people. And basically, we are taking care of the 0 and 1s of executable code. There is a lot of things that we are dealing with when we are creating software. A lot of them are quite sexy. It's source code, UI, JavaScript, pictures, and all kind of things like that. And a lot of it is dirty, which are the 0 and 1 that the machine are executing. At the end of the day, nobody wants to look at it beside the machine that are running it. And so Sacha Labouré, in one of the talk here, actually in Israel, in one of the Jenkins user conference, I think it was 4 years ago, he came and he said, I'm really happy about JFrog. They are the one taking care of my dirty bytes. And this is what we are doing, and we are really, really happy about doing it. And basically what it means for the DevOps and the DevOps Circle. So this is Forrester. This is a nice circle published by Forrester in 2017, okay, just this year, which represent the way we worked in the DevOps industry about 2 to 3 years ago. Go figure. But basically, they try to set up and to list all the different tools, all the different pieces to do full automation. At the end of the day, we have one single goal: to release fast, to provide more version to our end users with less bug, with more feature, faster, and have this cycle of improvement of our software between a demand from a customer demand or end user demand or actually a machine demand and the implementation to shorten this cycle and to have better quality. And in this diagram, I don't know if you see on the right side, there is this artifact repository. And basically, they put the fact of managing binary and managing 0 and 1s and the dirty 0 and 1 on the side of this circle. And from all the plugins that we have at JFrog, all the Jenkins plugin, all the Gradle and Maven plugin, all the integration with the test tools, and all the different environments, basically, we are really the conveyor belt of this circle, and we are in the middle. We are interacting with the developer when they want to find a third-party library. We are interacting with the test tool when they want to deploy and then to provide test results. We are integrating with Jenkins all over the pipeline from each steps of the pipeline to be able to send a binaries artifacts from one steps of the pipeline to the next, and so on and so on. And to tag at the end of each event and to provide back the results to the actual artifact that was tested or improved. So at JFrog, for all the products and all the environment, we are really the one that are providing this flow and providing this pipe between all the pieces of your DevOps stack. And by being here in the middle of this DevOps and the DevOps revolution, one thing that was quite clear, by the way, from this same Forrester report, Forrester was really complaining that there was no consolidation and no standardization of the DevOps tool stack. Why there is no one single vendor that provides a full DevOps solution, and why there is no one single standard to provide the full solution. And I think it's one of the first IT revolution, and it's a big IT revolution that we are experiencing today, the ability to release multiple times per day the different version of our systems. This first revolution of the IT environment will not see consolidation and will not see standardization. And the main reason for it is that all the DevOps vendors are drinking their own champagne. So I'm French, I don't eat my own dog food, I drink my own champagne. And so we really, so the Jenkins and the JFrog, the Cradle, the Maven, all those different players, all those environments, they are all providing open tools, open REST API, full documentation. A lot of them is open source. We can actually look at all the pieces of the stack, and the cost of integration is an order of magnitude lower than it used to be whenever we did integration. I don't know if how many of you worked during the time of middleware and Java middleware integration, but integrating all the different pieces into a Java middleware environment and all the different transaction player and databases and web UI and things like that was taking a lot of time. Today, you can really integrate all the pieces of your DevOps stack rapidly, easily, with full transparency and visibility. Okay? And because of it, a single vendor will not be able to keep up with the innovation and with the speed of releases and the features that are offered by each part of this stack. And this is what we are experiencing today, and we have a really state-of-the-art, strong capability of actually switching also any one of those vendors when we want to, and move forward and get the state-of-the-art. And this transformation, this DevOps transformation, is also in the way we are actually train an environment. So this is a slide just because I promised that I will have a Pokemon in my slide deck one day. So, so it just shows the nice Pokemon following this flow of the DevOps cycle. And basically, because Pokemon Go, when they released the first version, there was a lot of bugs and it was quite slow. And they keep improving. Every day there was a new version, and every day they keep improving faster and faster. And they provided a really good game that was very successful. And this continuous cycle is today provided as classes in Edureka and Coursera and all these kind of online tools. And you can get really, so I think all of you that are here, in a really good engineer that understand all the pieces and what is needed to be able to release a piece of software every day instead of every week or every quarter. So we are the one making the Pokemon move. And this is from this point of view that I want to talk about what we are seeing is coming and what is the next big change in the DevOps tool stack. This next big change, before I go into it, just a little bit of history using the same analogy that Kosuke used, which is the car industry analogy. And this is how we started. Okay, we started by creating software in a garage, a couple of guys, 5 guys, creating the software manually, putting all the pieces together, doing their own QA, and delivering the car to the customer. And the only way to fix the car was to bring back the car to the exact same 5 guys and not make hamburger, but to fix the actual car and give it back. Of course, as software grows and that the environment and the complexity grew, we started to automate, like the Ford T. It was still a lot of manual steps, a lot of picking up the different wheels, a lot of assembly, and a lot of people on the chain to actually create the software. But we could put a lot more engineers on a single task and on a single mission to provide the same software. And so we started to automate the process and to have a lot more higher delivery of software. And in terms of QA and validation, it was also manual QA and reviewing the quality of the car. Then, this is basically where we are today. Okay, this is what you are experiencing today, and this is when you have a good DevOps stack. Everything is robotized, okay? And one of the main robot manager is Jenkins, and we spend actually more time programming the robot and developing what the robot will do than actually writing the software. And this is a critical point about how come we manage to create so much software when actually the the growth rate of developer in the world is a lot lower than the normal growth rate, but is only 4% year over year, let's say. And the amount of software that we are creating is more than doubling year over year. And the only reason why we manage to create so much software with so little amount of people is because we call the machine, we call the robot. We stop actually developing and writing and assembling the pieces by ourselves. We just develop Jenkins and Jenkins agent and Artifactory distribution system to actually fully automate the creation of software. We delegated our workforce to the machine. By the way, there was a talk, Koske, you gave, I think it was 3 years ago, about the fact that this will not have been possible if the cost of the machine was still the one that we experienced at the time of the mainframe. Okay? An hour of mainframe was the cost of 20 engineers per hour. Okay? So with this kind of ratio, there is no way to do the automation and to do the DevOps revolution. Today, of course, the ratio is multiple order of magnitude reversed, and an hour on Amazon Cloud is 100 times the cost of an engineer. And this is why we can call the robots and we can make the robot work hard and work for us. And so all this analogy here, for example, Artifactory is the one providing the tire automatically and the good version and the QA and the robot environment. And we use a lot of the lean technology from Toyota and all the Kanban and all these kind of things. We look at how the car industry actually managed to deliver cars so fast with high quality, and we use some of the processes. It's back and forth, by the way. The car technology also reuse a lot of the processes, especially from Toyota, with this ability to, in a Jenkins pipeline, you can stop the full chain. In Toyota, it's the same. There is this red cord. If one worker anywhere in the chain see that something is wrong and that the car quality is going to get lowered because there is something wrong in the chain, any employee can actually stop the whole chain and work on the problem before it goes further. Okay, this is the same that we have with the big pipeline. But the main issue with all this process is that at the end of the day, we concentrate on the delivery. We concentrate on delivering one software, one application, one microservices, or one full product. We want to deliver this product to the end. And I think this is the heart of the issue that we are experiencing. And I'm going to start with a quote from Albert, which is basically, history is repeating itself. We are experiencing today a mistake that we did about wrongly defining the goal that we already did even in the DevOps revolution and in the DevOps industry. And the one that fixed it was another cool guy after Albert, which is Linus, which says that branching is not the goal, but merging is. And so Linus created two amazing things, and we will not be here without the two creation of Linus. So it's really, really an important piece of what we are doing. And so for some of you that knows the story, I'm going to still repeat it, but it all started with CVS. CVS was a good versioning control system. And I remember I was doing architecture and consulting for a direct insurance company. And the goal was to answer a phone call from the customer when they type 555 multiple times, and manage to give them a policy as fast as possible. And during this process, the goal is to have the software answer and respond so that the customer doesn't wait on the other side and that the policy is perfectly created for its need. So a lot of optimization could be done at the architecture level and a lot of work. It was a huge code base, and we had an idea about an architectural change, but it needed to do a CVS branch. And I remember this meeting with 6 top executives of the company that talked for more than an hour to decide if they should do a branch. Okay? So it was a huge cost discussion to decide should we actually do a CVS branch or not. It will mean that some developer will work on one branch and other will not, and they will have some issue in the future. And it was painful to create a CVS branch. How many of you already experienced trying to do a CVS branch on a 2 million file code base. So nobody, I'm the only old one here. Okay, cool. And it was taking almost half a day of the CVS server running like crazy to create this branch. And so it was a huge, huge process. And this is basically what the subversion guy came in to save. And the first time I ran my SVN copy, it was on the version 0.7, I think, of Subversion. It was not released yet. But the first time you run your SVN copy, you know that you have something that's going to change the way you work. Okay? I'm really sure that something went wrong and that the system crashed when it returned after a couple of seconds, and it managed to do a full copy and a full branch of my code base, and it just took a couple of seconds. It's about, by the way, the same kind of event when you do Docker run for the first time and you manage to get into a bash of an isolated container and it took you milliseconds when spawning your VM used to take multiple minutes. You know that you have a big change and something is changing. And so the Subversion guy, they really took over CVS, and we did huge amount of migration from CVS to Subversion. And now we could do branching really, really easily. And Linus said, but wait a second. I'm here, I'm on the Linux kernel, and I have all these pull requests, and I have all these demand, and I need to merge it to my Linux kernel. And this Subversion copy and this Subversion branching, it doesn't help me at all. And what was really, really frustrating, and it was true, it was really frustrating, is that you could see that Subversion had all the information. You could see all the change list on one branch, all the change list on the other branch. He knew exactly which line of which file changed. He had all the information. But you still need to have to do the merge manually. You still need to, so it provided you the information, you had to do the work manually. And so that was extremely frustrating. And so Linus decided, okay, I'm tired of this subversion and this subversion issue. I need to fix the merge and the merge capability. And if 10 years ago you will have told me there will be a way inside the Jenkins job to do git merge automatically and have merging and branching as part of my robotization and automatization process, I will have told you you're freaking crazy. Okay? And today, with Git and with the creation of Linus, we can actually do that. And it's really, every time you do a Git merge, okay, every time you do a Git purge, just imagine the amount of hours and the amount of time and the amount of pain you just saved by just doing it. So it's part of the system, and now we just take it for granted, but it really, really, really changed the way we work. And so the issue here is that we were suffering from branching, and we tried to fix the branching, but at the end of the day, what we needed is an ability to branch and merge more rapidly, to be able to work on something and then put it back or drop it, okay? And so it's the wrong definition. And so after Albert and Linus, I just put Fred, and this is what we are experiencing, what we are seeing here at JFrog, is that actually we missed the goal. The goal is not continuous deployment, but continuous update. We have all those services, we have all those systems. Creating a new service and putting it up on a Docker container or any kind of system from scratch, for sure it's really good that you have infrastructure as code and that you can redo it again and again. But at the end of the day, we do 1,000 times more updates of an existing service than popping up new services. And so to concentrate on continuous delivery and continuous deployment without having at the heart of what you are doing continuous update, we are actually suffering a lot. So we are trying to do all kind of load balancing and data migration and data versioning and zero downtime update with load balancing in the front, Docker layers, which looks very strange and doesn't make sense. So the next change and the next revolution in the DevOps industry will be that this continuous deployment workflow and the continuous part of putting new version of an existing microservices or an existing application on a running system is going to be targeted, and we're going to have more tooling and more environment and more best practices. So the big company, so the Netflix and the Twitter and all the big web company, they've solved this issue, and Google, they fixed this issue by building their own tooling and their own deployment processes. okay, which they have a lot of resources, they have a lot of technical resources, and they have a lot of hardware resources, which most of us don't have. So all those best practices today, Netflix OSS is putting a lot of the Spinnaker, for example, and things like that out there to help us with these processes. But at the end of the day, we need to take control of this issue, and we need to target continuous update. And basically, what's really funny when I try to apply this next change in the process from continuous deployment to continuous update to the car industry, basically the analogy breakdown. If you have a car and if you deliver the microservices and now you want to continuously update your car, you get into an issue. But the only way to do it is to bring the car with the robot integrated in the trunk and have it continuously update your car, and while it's driving, transforming your old car into a flying car. And this is what we are experiencing today in a lot of the software and the software industry. And this is what we are doing. We are actually providing a lot of the robot code and the robot testing code with the software that we are shipping so that our customer can continuously update and get the best version and make sure that the different version of the database and all the data version. And what's going to happen here is that once there's going to be one customer that's going to have a flying car, the other one is going to say, no, wait, why I don't get the flying car? I said, oh, no, you blocked your update and you are waiting to do an approval process of 6 months whenever there is a software update from a vendor that is coming in. And that's also a barrier that's going to fall. And more rapidly, we're going to see customers and users continuously updating their system. We are already experiencing that with a lot of the phone and phone application and iOS. But basically, this is where we are going. Now, if you look at this analogy and the analogy of the car that is continuously updated, there is two issues here in this process. First of all, the robot, you can ship the code of the robot, but the pieces which were designed, tested, and approved from the factory, they need to get all the way to the car. So you need a delivery mechanism which is extremely performant, so that you can provide the new software update and the new pieces of your car to all the customer and all your users rapidly, okay? And basically, this is what we are trying to do here at JFrog, is to provide you with the pipe to deliver all the updates securely and transparently all the way to all your end user and end customer. And the only way to do that, okay, it means that you have a high throughput pipe for software delivery and software environment, and that you can see what's going on inside your pipe. And that's one of the main reasons for the CloudMunch acquisition, is to be able to watch what's going on into all those pipes and watch what's going on from the developer that wrote a piece of code all the way to the QA test, to the stress test, and to the update environment to make sure that the car will be updated correctly, all the way to the actual car of your customer that will be updated. And when you think about it, we are already in this world. The Tesla are already updating themselves continuously. A lot of the IoT that we are doing and a lot of the IoT devices are continuously updating themselves. The phone are continuously updating themselves. We are seeing more and more of this flow and this continuous update. What we're going to see now in the future is that every software is going to be continuously updated. Every software producer and every software consumer is going to start to connect themselves one to each other and start to trust that the water is clean, that the water is trusted, and you're going to get your update directly from all the different vendors. That's the vision of JFrog. That's what you're going to experience. Good luck. Thank you.